I always wanted to be a military person, but on seeing the operations here, I'm not sure if I could really pull it off. That's why you have to really give credit to those that do it. It's absolutely, it's a pleasure to see everything operational. Now with me right now, we have Master Chief Petty Officer Class 1, Austin Howell. I hope I got it all correct.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Now, I understand that you were a part of the care package relief program. Now, I know we've seen many of the officers going around the island, but let's talk about that program, how the BDF was involved and how you were able to pull it all together.
Yes, sir. Morning all. We were directed by the government to distribute these packages at the end of January 2021. During that time, we had a total lockdown of the country, so it was very difficult for some of the citizens to access a lot of the personal items they would have liked to survive during that period. Initially, we were directed to issue 60,000 or deliver 60,000 packages to households throughout Barbados from Tbilisi north to Christchurch in the south. The operation commenced early February, where we had 16 teams deployed throughout the country to deliver these packages. We started in the urban areas, the points in Michael, Bridgetown, to include some of the major areas in the urban corridor, and we completed that first phase in about 4 weeks. We did achieve the 60,000 in the 4 weeks. However, it was determined that we need to go a little further. We were directed to deliver another 25,000, which again rose to another 10,000, which put us just over 100,000 care packages throughout the country. It was successful. It was challenging, but the members of the force, of course, sacrifice is one of our hallmarks. The sacrifice paid off, where we, along with some of our partners, when I say partners, we had some members of the public, some volunteers, as well as some members of some of the NGOs that joined us, and the operation was successful. And it was an honor as well to deliver those packages to the citizens.
I know most of Barbados only saw the tail end of things, where you were on the roads delivering, but let's talk about the actual preparation.
Yes, sir. We started preparation. It was a 24-hour operation. But the actual packaging of the packages will start every evening, commencing at 1800 hours, which is 6 p.m. And that team will work throughout the night until 06 in the morning. Wow. So we'll have 12 hours of dedication from some of the soldiers, with the assistance of some of the volunteers, where we use areas, we use Christchurch, we use Dyson Griffith School as one of the areas that we did packaging, St. Anne's School at the Garrison, and also Queen's College in St. James. We had out the 24-hour operation. During the night we will pack, and then the distribution will commence in the morning 06.
So in a case like this here, where you're really calling for all hands on deck, is there a situation where you're ordering people to come on board, or do you have that sense of duty where everyone just saying, okay, let's do what we need to do?
Of course not. In the military, we operate on orders. Once we are given that directive, we will switch into our normal mode, and as well, at that time we had to call in some of our reserve members of the Barbados Defence Force Reserve, and again, that's automatic. Once they get the word, they will come in and they will start their duty.
Well, thank you for your service, and thanks to everyone else that contributed. Master Chief Petty Officer Class 1 Austin Howell. Of course, we'll be back here at the West India Barracks, right here at the St. Anne's for more as we continue to celebrate for you. We have to make sure that we identify exactly where we are. When we pass, everyone say, yeah, you're at the BDF headquarters, or you're at St. Anne's, but right now we are at the West India Barracks. Now it's the headquarters for the Barbados Regimen. And with that, let me say good morning to Major Pedro Drakes. Now, I understand, Major Drakes, that the Santi Regiment recently came at a good time.
Yes, you did. Good morning. The Barbados Regiment is celebrating the first stand of colors which were presented to the regiment back in 1953. On an annual basis, what the regiment does is to remind troops of the colors that were presented to them and the whole regiment week. What we do is we start with church service, so that we ask God's blessing as we worship, and act for protection and guidance over the coming year. Then we have a series of events, and we will have started this week with several events. So far, we would have had a cricket competition. We would have also had some of the quizzes to come on Friday. This morning in particular, we started with a 5-mile relay, and the competition was well received.
Well, I wish you had told me with this 5-mile relay, man. I probably would have come and tried a mile. But you look fresh for a man that just came from, you ran all 5 miles or just one? It was one part of the relay.
I started the race. I was not with the group that was competing.
Oh.
That pace was a little too hot for me. 5-minute and 6-minute miles. But the competition was very good.
Let's talk, because you mentioned we're celebrating Regiment Week, but why do we need to celebrate? Let's talk about the importance and the involvement in the community. What's the regiment all about?
Well, the regiment is the landside component of the Barbados Defence Force, and its mission really is to conduct an array of land-based operations in support of the force's aims, objectives, and its priorities. The Barbados Regiment comprises of a number of subunits, and those subunits we provide an array of aid, military aid to civil ministries, civil power in particular, and civil community. The regiment is also part of the national response mechanism. We play an integral part in assisting the national mechanism for an array of humanitarian projects aid in that regard. So the regiment is there, and we like to say at the regiment that we are the guardians of the safety and security in conjunction with the Barbados Police Service in Barbados. So whenever there's an event, natural disaster, Barbados can come from the regiment to render the support that we are here to provide in the interests and safety and rebuilding of Barbados if there's a disaster. That's what the regiment does.
I think it's very important to really build that awareness, so when people ask, what do you do, they understand. And I think you really have shown, you really explain a lot of what you do here. Now, I must bring in, because we have with us right now as well Captain Dash, if we can bring Captain Dash into the conversation. Now, he's going to speak to one of those elements that really has been a big part over the past year or two, the COVID-19 patient pickup operation. Good morning to you, Captain Dash.
A pleasant good morning to you, Kashi.
Kashi, yeah.
Yes. So just to give you a bit of history into the DDF's role into collecting patients, okay? Sometime earlier, I was at training in Gaza Targan, and I received the email from the chief of staff, actually directed me to report to St. Anne's Fort. And my task there was to assist the Ministry of Health and Wellness in the fight against the coronavirus.
Yes.
Okay? What do we do? What do we do? Now, it is a series of steps. So coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, there's a set of data which is placed on a platform on the computer. Now once that information comes now to the patient collection cell, the patient collection cell is charged with prioritizing that information. So the patients will be triaged.
Yes.
We use two colors. We use red and we use yellow. Red and yellow. Okay, obviously red is priority, as you know. There, red is that emergency code that we have. Yes, the listeners will not be able to see it, but you can look at it. You can see there are two ambulances out there. So we use those two ambulances along with there are also two vehicles from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, which we call red buses. Those vehicles are equipped with oxygen in them. It gives us the ability to collect more than one client or patient. Patient being the older term that you use, client being a more modern term which we use to refer to those who we assist. Okay, along with those 2 red buses, there's also a fleet of about 5 of these ZM type vehicles which we use in collecting
Okay, so all these vehicles, again, if you're on our social media pages, you can see the photos and videos that are being uploaded. But you have several vehicles that are used in the, and just to be clear, you're not just drivers, but you are trained medical staff.
Yes, that is correct. Now, in particularly the ambulances and the red buses, once they leave St. Anne's Fort to assist a member of the public who has unfortunately been stricken with the virus, a trained medic is always on those vehicles. Okay. Now, when we actually started this project, we actually worked a shift work 10 hours straight, and there were actually 3 shifts. So it was 10 hours, you roll, you just keep on rolling. You work from the time that you came in, you were on the ball, you were going.
And it just shows that there's that constant involvement, as we were speaking earlier about the care package program, you're always on the ball. That's why we really have to recognize and show appreciation to everyone. I want to invite Major Drakes as we get ready to wrap up, because we only have about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
So for the public, what would you like to say on behalf of the regiment?
The Barbados Regiment remains committed to providing service to the people of Barbados, as we are ready, willing and able, and to continue to provide the service that the people of Barbados deserve from the Barbados Defence Force through the Barbados Regiment.
Well, thank you very much. That's Major Drakes, of course. We also heard from Captain Dash, and earlier Master Chief Petty Officer Class 1 Austin Howell. I had to make sure I got that all correct. Must thank Lieutenant Shinar Gollop, the Media and Communications Officer, actually coordinating everything here. This is just our second stop. So much more to come your way. Thank you to the Barbados Regiment for hosting us right here at the West Indian Barracks. We hit the road once again as we continue to celebrate 40 with UB.